Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I would like to talk about distractions, and this is another personal ask video for me. So I was meditating and praying and asking about distractions and how to deal with them and work with them and what to do. So I feel like distractions are a part of life, and a lot of times, some things are distractions that we don't even realize are distractions. And I'm coming to find that more and more as I move along on my spiritual journey. And it's very, very interesting because, there are a couple different theories, and one theory is that distractions are kind of the darker energies warfare. And I think that that's like a really, really interesting angle to take because, you know, we are in spiritual warfare right now. It isn't guns and sides and things like that. It is very much an energetic warfare. It's very much spiritual, and it is very much not exactly the kind of warfare that would come to mind instantly when you say that. And, what is at stake is, you know, our consciousness, our attention is really not exactly what is at stake. What is at stake is honestly like our freedom, like our spiritual freedom, our energetic freedom. Although we were always spiritually free, but because we forget who we are in this life, you know, the spiritual warfare is over our human attention, so it is energetic because, attention is energy. Well, everything's energy. But so if you think about the warfare in the aspect of it is warfare for our attention, and if you were to think about that, because attention is our most valuable commodity that we have because it leads to all other things. The things that you give your attention to may impact your beliefs, and your beliefs create your reality because your beliefs affect your thoughts, feelings, actions, and emotions. So, apparently, I don't like to give too much energy to the dark, but the dark is very smart. The dark is very witty. The dark knows our weaknesses and vulnerabilities, and they're not coming at us and trying to slay us. What they're doing is, you know, I guess like tempting us with different things, like little pieces of candy to a kid. And because in doing that, it gets our attention, and then we are then giving our attention to what they want as opposed to what our souls want and what the divine wants and what the light wants. The divine wants us to put our attention on the truth, to put our attention on what brings us the highest joy, put our attention on loving ourselves as well as loving others. And the divine always wants what is best for us because it is the light, and we always want to be bringing more light into our body, and we want to be always heading towards the light. That is what evolution is. And so the dark has these methods of distractions, and some distractions that you might not even think of. And one big distraction, and I can only speak of for myself, but I know that this is a big distraction in society, is food. Especially like unhealthy, processed, or just like unhealthy food at all. And I really don't like to label food as unhealthy or healthy. However, for this instance, it serves. So why is unhealthy food so good? Why is like a packaged food, why are we drawn to it? Why is it delicious? Why is it the reason why is because it's addictive. The reason why like unhealthy foods are so good is because unhealthy foods prey on something biological. So let's take sugar, for example. Biologically, a small amount of sugar serves because your body stores it as fat, and your body needs fat reserves for in case there's ever a time that you are without food. So, biologically, sugar serves us, and we do need sugar to a certain extent. So that is why we love sugar. That's why we're drawn to sugar. That's why when we taste sugar, we think like, oh, this is so good. It's because our body actually wants sugar, because our body doesn't view sugar as something bad. Our body doesn't view fat as something bad. You know, our body doesn't view, there's no judgment of like being overweight being bad, even though it affects the body negatively. So your body just sees like, ooh, this is something that we might need for later and we can store for later. So we really like that. And because we like to be prepared, and we are here to, you know, for survival, and that is it. And this sugar is going to help us survive if there is no food. And that's all your body's thinking. So that is why we like sugar. So enter in, you know, scientists and food companies and people paying millions and millions of dollars for the research, you know, like what can we make people, how can we make them love our product? How can we make them need our product and want to eat it over and over and over again? And then they find out like, oh, well, naturally we love sugar. You know, naturally our body craves sugar because it is a survival mechanism for it. So let's start adding little bits of sugar, and then it just like kind of snowballs from there. So these companies are going after, and I'm not saying that it's exactly coming from a dark place. They're not like, oh, well, we want to distract them, so let's feed them sugar. No, not exactly. But those companies are driven by a bottom line, by the dollar, and not exactly by our health. So they take into consideration that they do not take into consideration that too much sugar is bad for us, and that our bodies aren't meant to carry around all this extra weight. They're not taking that into consideration, and therefore it is a more service to self industry when you're coming at it from that aspect, as opposed to being service to others. Now, service to others would be a healthy product, something that makes you feel good, something that gives you energy, something that doesn't weigh you down. And so that is kind of where the distraction comes in. And I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I have heard that darker energies can maybe spark a craving, or, you know, kind of give you that idea of like, that might be good. You know, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but if you think about it in terms of a spiritual warfare, it does kind of make sense that if the darker energies were to somehow be able to spark a craving for something unhealthy, and therefore we go and we eat something that doesn't serve us and isn't good, and now our attention is on this processed product and getting it, and then, you know, our attention is, then it gives you a tummy ache, and then your attention is on how much your stomach hurts and how, you know, you don't feel very well, and all of this stuff. That is a complete distraction from where your attention would be in a more serving way, you know, pursuing your passions, lifting your vibration, serving others. You know, that is, you know, that is where our attention needs to be, not exactly on like, oh, I just ate those cookies and now I feel like crap. You know, so that is where the warfare comes in. And there are so many other distractions. Social media is huge, and it finally, I never really put it together how much social media was a distraction until I was scrolling one night, like I guess I have like a little bit of a routine. I don't look at social media until the evening, and then, you know, like Instagram, I'm scrolling Instagram and watching stories and whatnot. And it's something that I do every single day. And a few weeks ago, I finally put it together. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty big distraction. Like, this is taking up my attention for what? It's not that long, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, but that is also 20 to 30 minutes where I am giving away my attention. And what is coming into my field of view is no longer under my control. So it's no longer something that I choose. I'm choosing all the time. And I choose, of course, the people that I follow and the stories that I look at. However, I can't control what those people post. So therefore, my attention is could be going to anything. You know, it can be going to whatever pops up. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't scroll social media or anything like that, but you should definitely be aware. Be aware of that distraction and be aware of how that kind of like siphons your attention away, because that's how I feel about social media. I mean, like, we have a social media app called TikTok. And like, yes, it's cute, it's fun. Like, I think that TikTok people are so creative and it's wonderful. However, if you think about the name like TikTok, and if you are familiar with TikTok, you know how long you could spend scrolling TikTok. So it just makes sense. It's like TikTok, the time, you're just letting that time flow by being on TikTok. You know, TikTok. So it really makes sense, and it's kind of just like in our face, like, wow, we have an app that is designed purely to do nothing but kill time. Really. It's called freaking TikTok, you know? So bringing your awareness to the fact that it is a distraction will help you to be able to manage it a little bit more, you know, because I used to like mindlessly, and like, I would scroll until I was done, you know. I would scroll until I had watched all the stories, or I had, you know, looked at the post that I wanted to post. And now I am able to like put it down before then. You know, a lot of times like I'll be scrolling and I just think like, I just really don't care. And I don't mean that in a mean way, and I don't mean that in a way that like I don't want to see what people are doing or anything like that, but like I mean it in a way that my awareness is now here to like, how much am I giving out as opposed to how much am I getting back? And I feel like that is really key, and that just came to me. It's coming as like an epiphany to me too. To look at distractions as, when you're looking to see if something is a distraction or if it's something that truly serves you, look at it as a way of how much is it taking versus how much is it giving back. If we want to take our social media example, how much is that social media taking, and exactly what is it taking? So it's taking our attention, it's taking our time, and it can be influencing our emotions and beliefs, because, you know, repetition is part of brainwashing. And I'm not getting into like the tin hat, we're being brainwashed or whatnot, but the more and more you see things, the easier it is to implement as a belief. So, you know, we were talking the other day, like how precious our energy is. So to have something influence our energy, that's a pretty high cost. And something that influences your energy in not the highest way is a extremely high cost. And that is the cost of social media. Have you ever seen a post that affected your mood afterwards? So that means that social media is affecting your vibration. And our vibration is, I don't want to say it's the only thing we have, but it's such an important part of what we have. You know, because like vibration attracts like vibration. So we want to keep our vibration high, so we attract high vibrational things. So when we are, you might, you know, your vibration might start out here when you're scrolling, but where is your vibration when you're done scrolling? What is the cost of that interaction? What is the cost of that distraction? And that is exactly where we need to bring our attention. What is the cost of this distraction? Or not even, because you might not even realize things are distractions. You just need to look at things you're doing and things that you're consuming, feeding your mind, body, and soul. It's not just about food. What is this costing me versus what am I getting from it? That is where we need to start bringing our awareness, and that is how we uncover those distractions in our life. So that is definitely something that I'm going to be doing. You know, what am I getting out of this versus what am I giving it? That I feel like is so important, and definitely part of the epiphany that I was looking for and that I was asking for doing this video. And I want to thank the Divines for such a beautiful message. And I want to thank you for tuning in. That is our message for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon, my friend.